Hey, Rusty, I was going to do a video, but then I saw this comment. I'm like, that would be the perfect interlude. Because of Bible skimmers, they read the Bible but don't study it or read it in context or with the correct audience being written to. So, Christine and I were collaborating this morning. Christine from I Am Redeemed. We were collaborating this morning on the three accounts of the Mount of Transfiguration found in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Now, Matthew is the gospel written to the Jews. Mark is written to the lukewarm, and Luke is written to the church. And you are going to see some differences. And I'm going to point them out to you. And at the end, you're going to hear my theory. Matthew 17:1. And after 6 days. Now pay attention to this. 6 days. That's going to be very important. And after 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John, his brother, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. And Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. He was still speaking when a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell on their faces and were terrified. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, Rise and have no fear. And when they lifted up their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. Okay, that was the Jews. Now let's go to the lukewarm in Mark chapter 9. Mark 9:2, and after 6 days, pay attention to that, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became radiant, intensely white, as no one on earth could bleach them. You notice it says no one on earth could bleach them, and it doesn't say that in Matthew. And there appeared to them Elijah with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter said, Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. For he did not know what to say, for they were terrified. And a cloud overshadowed them, and a voice came out, This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. Do you notice the voice was different? In Matthew, he said, This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. You notice, I am well pleased is not here. Why? Because God is saying, I'm not well pleased with the Jews. And what is he telling the lukewarm church? Listen to him. Because you're not listening to him, lukewarm. And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them but Jesus only. Okay? Great. Let's go to Luke chapter 9. Luke 9:28. Now about 8 days after. Notice 8 days after, not 6 days. Why? Because this is the Feast of Tabernacles. Something happens to the church before the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, about 8 days after these sayings, he took with him Peter and John and James and went up on the mountain to pray. And as he was praying, the appearance of his face was altered, and his clothing became dazzling white. Notice nothing about earth on here. And behold, 2 men were talking with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke about his departure You notice the other two were not speaking about his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. Now, Peter and those who were with him were heavy with sleep. They were resting. But when they became fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men who stood with him. And as the men were parting from him, Peter said, Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make tents, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Not knowing what he said. As he was saying these things, a cloud came, overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. Okay, notice they're not terrified. They're afraid. Different wording. You notice that only in Luke they entered the cloud. That's interesting. Verse 35, and a voice came out of the cloud saying, This is my son, my chosen one. Oh, not my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. My chosen one, meaning you are chosen in Christ. You are the church. And when the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. Interesting. Meaning, we're gone. Now, let's tie this together. Matthew and Mark, we know the Jews go through the Great Tribulation. We also know that the lukewarm go into the tribulation and are killed in the tribulation. Now, when you read the second part of Revelation 7, those are the tribulation saints that were killed in the Great Tribulation. Now, go watch my video after this on Captain Cookie's Bible Studies, the difference between the raptured church and the tribulation saints. These ones here in Revelation 7 are waving palm branches. The Feast of Tabernacles is the only feast where you wave palm branches. What am I saying? The church is most likely raptured before the Feast of Tabernacles, the last of the fall feasts. We enter into the cloud when the glory of God for the other ones come down on them. God is not well pleased with the Jews at that time. He will be when he comes back. The lukewarm is terrified. Now, the difference between terrified and afraid, that's a little different. We have a holy fear of God, and we are gone 8 days before, where Israel and the lukewarm go through. So yeah, go watch that video on the difference between the raptured church and the tribulation saints on Captain Cookie's Bible Studies. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll just post that in the description.